In this video, I'm going to go over my personal portfolio and show you guys how I've been faring in the market. Let's get into it. Welcome to Piece of the Pie with Ty. I'm Ty, and I appreciate you guys checking out my channel. If you like any of the content in this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. My channel is all about making sure people are aware of the different avenues out there to get a piece of the pie. This video is my game winning portfolio 4, where I track how I've been doing in the market and my growth. So without further ado, we're going to go straight to it. Okay guys, now let's take a look at my Robinhood account. In my last video, I had about $15,000 in there. Now I'm sitting at $17,351. And in my last video, I had a growth of 22%. Now I'm sitting at around about 32%. And I have a gain of $4,251. All right. And I'm a long-term investor, so I hold all of my positions. I don't really be in and out of stocks. So that's great growth for a long-term investor. I do want to point out that on the last video, we were sitting at that 22% because of this dip right here. As you guys see, is at 22%. And of course, the market was going down, but I bought more during that time it was recovering. As you should when these dips come, because they come and go. For my swing traders, that would have been the perfect time to go in and come back up. So for my swing traders, if you're looking for an opening in the market, you might want to wait because the market might dip down again and then you come back. But for my long-term investors, you just wait for these dips, and this is the time that if you have extra, go in and buy extra. All right. And that's what I did. You know, I came out good, and my investments came back out of that dip, and I grabbed a couple things while I was in there. So I'm gonna go down my portfolio and show y'all what I did buy. And that is pretty good growth for a blue collar investor like myself. And I'm blessed to have the knowledge to be able to do that. All right, so let's go ahead back to the portfolio. I have my portfolio set to total percentage gains, just like the previous game winning portfolios. And we're going to start right up the top. SPHD. I went in and bought 2 more SPHD since the last video, and I'm sitting at 18.7. That's about a 2.5% increase since the last video. TMFC, that's the Motley Fool Index. I bought 2 more of those, and I'm sitting at 17.56. That's about a 8% increase since my last video. Cyber. That's a cybersecurity ETF. It has a whole lot of different computer programming companies, a lot of big data companies. That's what's in that cyber ETF. I bought 2 more of cyber, and I'm sitting at 12.2 growth. That's about 4% increase since my last video. So just off bat, you guys see that during that dip, I kind of went heavy on my ETFs. I increased my position in all 3 of my top ETFs. FHLC, that's the Fidelity Healthcare ETF. I'm sitting at a growth of about 7.82%. That's a growth of about 3.5% since my last video. Nerd, I'm sitting at 10.92%. That's an increase of about 2% since the last video. AMD, I'm sitting at 17.02. That's an increase of about 6% since the last video. Apple, I'm sitting at 9.83%. That's an increase of about 9%. Microsoft, I'm sitting at 14.71%. And Microsoft has hit an all-time high over the last week or two. And I'm sitting at an increase of about 11%. AYX, that's another big data company. They specialize in a cloud-based platform, and I'm still deep in the negative on that one. I'm negative 40%, but it is an increase of about 2% since the last video. I could have went into that company and averaged down some more, but I kind of want to see what that company is going to do, so I kind of fell back on averaging down on that company. Cloudera, CLDR, that's another cloud-based company, and they are down negative 5.02, and that's a negative 15% since my last video. So if you guys haven't noticed, those up-and-coming cloud-based companies, they've been going down. And that's another thing that when I do these videos, you kind of can see what market is going up or down. The ETFs at the top of my portfolio, they've all been doing good. Then you get to these cloud-based companies, they've kind of been going down. CRSR, that's Corsair Gaming, I'm sitting at negative 11.38%. That's an increase of 8% since the last video. They are still a great company to look into. NOC, Northrop Grumman, I'm up 9.18%. That's an increase of 12% since the last video. And now we're about to get to the aerospace field. And you guys gonna see the same thing I said in the last game winning portfolio is still happening. So Northrop Grumman is in the aerospace field. HECO, I'm up 27.1%. That's an increase of 8% since my last video. Southwest, I'm sitting at 63.02. That's an increase of 16% since my last video. Delta, I'm sitting at 93.13%. That's an increase of 12% since my last video. So you guys see the aerospace field has been doing great over the last month. That was the last time I had the game winning portfolio. Over the last month, if you would have kept going hard on aerospace, you would have been winning. Lowe's, I'm in the positive on Lowe's. That's LOW. I'm at 13.14%, and that's an increase of 22% since the last video. That's pretty good. DRI, that's Darren Restaurants. That's the restaurants field. That's your dine-in restaurants. I'm sitting at 40.24%. That's an increase of about 3%. Cisco, SYY, I'm positive 23.39%. That's a decrease of about 1%. So I ain't mad. Ain't nobody hurt. Ain't nobody hurt about that. Coke, KO, I'm sitting at 6.39%, and that's an increase of about 5%. BAM, Brookfield, I'm sitting at 33.09%, and that's an increase of about 12%. I do want to point out I did add 2 more to CRSR, Corsair Gaming. I added 2 more to that position. EPRT, as you guys see, I'm really bullish on EPRT. It's one of the REITs, and I'm going to take EPRT to the grave. They're going to be one of the REITs that I'm going to try to get a lot of dividend income in my retirement and everything. So that's why I'm so heavy on EPRT. I bought 8 more of EPRT, and I'm sitting at 23.93% growth, and I had a 3% increase since the last video. So I went in and I bought 8 more shares, and I still have a decent growth. EPRT, they're a strong REIT. I'm telling you, you got to watch out for that. And I'm going to retirement with those. So definitely check that company out. It's a strong REIT. Nova, I'm sitting at 14.27. I'm down about 4% since my last video in that. CRISPR, CRSP, I'm negative 24.63%. I did go in and I bought 1 more of them to average down, because CRISPR, I bought them while they was like 180, and they have dropped all the way down to like, my last share I bought was like 116. So yeah, it's the perfect time to average down. My goal is to have like 5 CRISPR. I want to use them to increase my position in the healthcare field. So I want at least 5 of those. So if I get the chance, I might go in and try to scoop up some more before the next video, before they jump back up to that 200. Prospect, I'm skipping them because it's a free stock I got. TPGY, Pace Financial. That's going to become EV Box eventually. It's one of those electric vehicle gas stations. It's going to be just like ChargePoint was. I bought 4 more of them, and it was mainly to average down. If you are in this stock, you can go in and average down while they keep having these dips, because I think they're eventually going to jump up. And because I've averaged down, I'm sitting at negative 12.91%, but that's an increase of about 8% since my last video. ADT, that's a free stock. AMC, I'm sitting at negative 28.15%. That's actually an increase of about 10% from where I was at in my last video. And now we get to my 2 cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm sitting in Bitcoin at about 397% growth. That's an increase of 76% since the last video. And Ethereum, I'm sitting at about 181, 182, and that's an increase of about 55% since my last video. So I think I'm doing good. I think I'm doing great. And if you guys got questions about any of these stocks, please drop your questions in the comments and we can talk about it. I do want to show you guys one more thing, and that's my projected dividend income. Alright guys, and I did want to show you guys my projected dividend income. This is Dividend Watch. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description. It's the perfect place to calculate your dividends. It's saying in 10 years, if I keep going how I'm going, I will have a dividend income from my portfolio of $2,186 a year. Alright, and like I said, I'm trying to make that number go up. For some reason it dropped down, probably because we had so much growth going on, and it changed the dividend payout of a couple companies. But it's just a projection, nothing set in stone. I'm still trying to make that number go up. I'm still trying to make sure I get passive income from my portfolio. So watch me work. Okay, so that was an update to my game winning portfolio. If you got any questions about the stocks that I did go over, drop them in the comments. And in the description on this video, there's a link to the Facebook group where we discuss everything dealing with investing. You can also bring your questions to the group. We will welcome any investors that's trying to get a piece of the pie like we are. Also in the description, I do have a link to a few books that were helpful to me as an investor, and where I got a lot of my strategy from were these books in the description. So check that out. I just want to show people that investing in the stock market isn't that hard. If you just apply yourself, do a little bit of research, and stick to it, you can get a piece of the pie too. Alright, if you like any of the content in this video, please hit that like button. It really helps me out when people find the video. And subscribe to the channel and come back and see me. I got plenty more to talk about. Thanks.